Welcome in for another edition of Bet. I'm Anita Marks, your host, and we're going to get you locked and loaded NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll have some NHL plays. Puck Daddy is going to join us on the program as well. Still, even though the NFL season is over, there is still a lot to bet on. Let's bring Andre Snellings. He's going to be my co-pilot, my partner in crime today on the show. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's get started with the good word, Dre. Jets 16-1 to win the AFC next season. Reports are Derek Carr is going to make a visit here to New York. What's your good word?
Premature, as in it's still premature to bet on the Jets to actually win the AFC until I know something definitive about their quarterback slot. And even if they bring in a big name guy like Carr or even Rodgers, I still don't know if I'd bet with them because the AFC is just a monster. And even among teams with similar on the come up odds, like the Jaguars or the Ravens, I'm more confident with them, I think, than I am with the Jets with what we know now.
My good word is sputter, as in like, a jet and they're sputtering through the air. Are you kidding me? To win the AFC? They don't even win the AFC East next year. Above the Buffalo Bills, and believe it or not, I do like the New England Patriots now that they have a legit offensive coordinator in Bill O'Brien coming in to work with Mac Jones. I love Cincinnati coming out of the AFC next season. I do believe they get a new deal done with Joe Burrow. They're going to bring back Jesse Bates at safety. They're top 5 in the NFL in regard to cap space, so I think they're going to have some room to make some noise, be active and attractive in the postseason. So we'll see what happens. And then, of course, you got the Ravens, the Jags, Kansas City, the Chargers, and don't sleep on Denver now that Sean Payton is the head coach. All right, here we go. Number 2, Joe Mazzulla, plus 180 to win Coach of the Year. He's been magnificent, taking over, of course, as the Boston Celtics head coach. What's your good word?
Security, as in leading the Coach of the Year race will get you the job security of taking that interim tag off and becoming the permanent coach. To take over a team that was kind of in turmoil the way the Celtics were to start the season, and not only to steady the ship, but to have them with the best record in the NBA at the All-Star break. Mazzulla deserves all the plaudits. He deserves to be at the top of the Coach of the Year rankings, and he deserves all that new job security.
My good word is Mazzulla Tov, as in Mazel Tov. Congratulations. I mean, listen, very, very deserving here, in my opinion, right? Like, thrust into the position. What a crazy, insane offseason. Lots of personalities to deal with. Not, expectation based on that roster, but for him to come in and have the best record in the NBA, sitting at 42-17, really, really impressive stuff, in my opinion. So I think very worthy and definitely a wager that I would make. Connor McDavid having talk about unbelievable seasons. Minus 225. I know it's a lot of juice, right? To lead the NHL in goals. What's your good word?
LeBron, because Connor McDavid always is the leader in points in the NHL. He's been first or second like 6 or 7 years in a row now. But it's normally because of his all-around game, a combination of goals and assists. Just like LeBron flexing on everyone and becoming the all-time leading scorer in the NBA, even though he's known for his all-around game, what McDavid is doing to have the lead and to be scoring so many goals as individual goals, it's a LeBronian type flex.
Yeah, so my good word is ship, as in that ship is sailed, dude. You need to put down that much, $225 to win 100. Nobody's going to catch him. 99 goals in 55 games? He's unbelievable, but too much juice there for me to make that wager. Dre, hang tight. We're going to go to the ice. We're going to come back to you and talk some more hardwood. So hang tight. We got Puck Daddy Greg Wyshynski, who's joining us on Bet. Puck Daddy, great to have you as always. Now, we wanted to bring you back because last Wednesday, you won both your picks that day, which is fantastic. Like what we expect from you each and every time we have you on Bet. Let's talk about some of the games on tap on the slate tonight in the NHL. And we were just talking about Connor McDavid being the odds-on favorite, of course, to lead the NHL in goals. His team hosting the Rangers tonight. They're minus 120 on the money line, but minus 1.5 on the puck line with a juicy plus 180. How would you play this matchup?
Well, the Rangers are on an absolute heater right now, a 6-game winning streak. They're averaging over 5 goals a game during that streak. Obviously, the addition of Vladimir Tarasenko in a trade with the St. Louis Blues has helped. He's actually not playing with his friend Artemi Panarin. They have him playing with Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider right now. So a lot of offensive balance in this Rangers team. All that leads me to like the idea of taking the Rangers over the 3.5 goal team total in this one. They're on plus money. They've been rolling offensively. The Oilers, not exactly a defensive stalwart out there. So all that leads me maybe sprinkling a little on the over 3.5 team total for the Rangers.
I actually have a play in this one. After talking to you on my radio show last night, I like Edmonton, and I like them on the money line, minus 125. Connor McDavid, obviously a big reason. Can he counter in that explosive offense? Shesterkin, possibly. They beat the Rangers back in November and outshot them 32-23. They're 7-1 their last 7 games against the Rangers. They're 9-1 on Friday night, by the way, so they love playing on Friday night. This is a great comeback team. They're awesome in the third period. So I like Edmonton here. I like them on the money line. Game number 2, the Penguins going up against the Islanders. It's an early matchup, essentially a pick'em at minus 105 to minus 115. Over under the goal set is at 6. How are you playing this one?
Well, you said, essentially a pick'em, also essentially a playoff game. The Islanders need this one in a pretty big way against the Penguins, a team they're chasing, who they have games in hand on the Islanders as well. So it's going to be a real good atmosphere in this game. And I like the under 6 in this one. I think it's going to be a tightly played game. The Penguins tend to go under on the road more than at home. They're under 6 in 3 of their last 4 games. Plus, you have the Islanders under this number or equal to this number in 6 of 8. And Ilya Sorokin, the incredible goaltender for the Islanders, the reason they're even in a playoff hunt right now, has a stellar numbers on home ice, a goals against average of under 2. So all that leads me to believe that the score will be under 6 in this one.
Let's take a look at the Stars and the Wild. It looks like goals are going to be at a premium because the over-under is just at 5.5, which is kind of interesting to me, Greg, because the last time these two teams played each other, the Stars won 6-5. So how do you see this playing out? Especially, I'm curious, do you have a side in regards to the over-under goal total?
Yeah, I'm going to take the first period under in this one. Minnesota has gone under in the first in 16 of their last 18 games. How about that? The expected goalie matchup for this one is Philip Gustafsson against Jake Ottinger. Obviously, those two goalies don't give up much. Like you said, it should be a pretty tight scoring affair, but I like it to start off really quietly in this one with the under in the first period.
All right, let's look big picture here, right? We're about 7 weeks away from the start of the NHL postseason, and we've got the top 6 teams and their odds. Let's take a look at them. Graphic-wise, our producer, Weimer, there we go. Thanks, Weimer. Bruins, obviously, no surprise there, right? 4-1, Avalanche, Hurricanes, Lightning, Rangers, Stars. Go Rangers, 10-1. So taking a look at this list, the odds, who are you playing to lift Lord Stanley's Cup this year, Greg?
Well, as I mentioned on your fabulous radio show last night, Anita, the Dallas Stars are a pretty interesting proposition here. Maybe to win the Cup, definitely to win the Western Conference. They are a deep team, a balanced team. They've got offense. Like I mentioned, Jake Ottinger, one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League. Plus, the West is not going to be the meat grinder that the East is. I mean, if the Bruins do make it out of the East, they're going to have to do so probably through the Tampa Bay Lightning and through either the Carolina Hurricanes, New York Rangers, and New Jersey Devils. That is not going to be an easy path. I think Dallas has an easier path. I like these long odds. As I mentioned, Pete DeBoer, their coach, in his first season in San Jose, Stanley Cup final. First season in New Jersey, Stanley Cup final. First season in Dallas, maybe Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, it's evident. You're all over the Stars. I love it. Greg, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Really do appreciate it. We take you back from the ice, back to the hardwood. Dre joining us now. Not only is he on Bet and, of course, does a lot of our platforms, he's one of our best columnists. Is that even a word? Is that a Marxism? It might be. You've got a great column out right now talking about the Lakers. Again, you've been on my radio show as well. I know how much you like the Lakers, especially after the moves that they've made at the trade deadline. So let's break that down, right? What is it about the Lakers that you like, that you feel they will make it to the postseason this year in the NBA, Dre?
Because they just swapped out about half their team for guys that can actually shoot and play defense, which is important. But let's stick with the shooting. I mean, Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley, two guys they traded away. I don't know if you've ever played at the playground or at the YMCA when you know somebody on the other team can't shoot and you just yell self-check and don't even guard them. I've never seen professional NBA players get self-checked as often as the Lakers were, specifically Westbrook and Beverley earlier this season. And they were still barely making 31% of their threes on like 8 attempts per game. So they brought in 4 new guys that could all shoot the three really well for their position, including 2 perimeter guys that could volume shoot the three and really make teams pay when they try to pack it in on Anthony Davis and LeBron James the way they have been. And it's been affecting the two. Even though James and Davis have played well when healthy, their percentages, according to Second Spectrum, all of their jump shots pretty much are well down from what they normally are. So getting some teammates around them that can shoot and play defense should help the entire squad function at a much higher level coming out the All-Star break.
Just so you know, I used to play a lot of pickup basketball down in Miami at the University of Miami, and I'd play with a lot of guys. They would love to set picks for me because I do have a sweet stroke. Just want to let you know, Dre. Just want to let you know. Here we go. We had Brian Windhurst on the show on Wednesday, and we were talking about the Lakers, and he's optimistic about the Lakers as long as LeBron stays healthy. But he says, man, he'll never put money down on the Lakers because the odds, the prices, they're just so bad. But you have found a couple futures bets that you like, that you want to share with our viewers in regard to the Lakers. What are they, Dre?
Absolutely. And Whitney makes a good point. You know, teams like the Lakers or the Cowboys in football, they're always going to be on a lot of people's radars. But for me, and I should point out, this article ran on Wednesday. At that time, the odds were even better. But the updated odds say that the Lakers are plus 160 to make the playoffs and minus 110 to make the play-in. I think those are both situations that are very likely to happen with the team playing better in the second half of the season. And I'll also give a nod to that 70-1 to win the division. I think it's unlikely because they're still 6 games back. But odder things have happened, and for a penny parlay, that could be worth taking a look at.
Talking about injuries, let's talk about Zion for a second, right? Like, prior to his injury, the Pelicans, they were like kicking butt and taking names. They were actually first in the West. Then he got injured. They ripped off 10 straight losses. They're sitting now in 8th place. Currently, the odds, minus 115 for them to participate in the play-in game. Wondering if you've got a wager here, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you with more absence with Zion Williamson?
Yeah, I'm actually fading them playing the play-in because it's too easy for them to go in either direction. They're only a half game out of the 6th seed and not being in the play-in in the positive direction, and they're only a game and a half out of falling completely out of the top 10. And with the uncertainty surrounding Zion, as you point out, since he's been hurt, they've really gone downhill in a hurry, in a surprising way, because they played well last season when it was just C.J. McCollum and Brandon Ingram as their main guys. They've gotten healthier, so perhaps they might come out of the break and be able to make a little bit of a run. Or if they continue to struggle, then it's very likely that they fall out. Either way, for negative money, it's too risky for me to play to pick them to make it to the play-in.
Well, no NBA slate because it's the All-Star break, right, in Utah, but there is still a lot that we can wager and gamble on with all the events and festivities that are going to be taking place tonight and, of course, through Sunday. So let's start with the slam dunk contest, right? Who are you eyeing to win the slam dunk contest, Dre?
I like Kenyon Martin Jr. There's 4 people in this contest. 2 of them are 6'9" and above, and you almost never really see big men win the dunk contest. The other one is a wild card in Mac McClung, who's actually a G League player that's coming up to be in the dunk contest. And he's got a lot of buzz around him, but he's a shorter player and he really relies on the spectacular. And in recent years in the dunk contest, we've seen too many missed dunks in those types of situations. I like Kmart. He's about 6'6". He's got the hops that he got from his daddy. And if he's smart, he might bring his father out there to get the crowd hype and maybe dunk over him.
See, I like the G League player. I like McClung for a number of reasons. Number one, you know that the fan base is going to go crazy for him because he's the underdog, right? Went undrafted in 2021, plays for the Delaware Blue Coats. Okay, I've never even heard of them before. He's just a really feel-good story. And do yourself some justice. Go and look on YouTube at some of his dunks. I mean, he is a YouTube sensation. The dude is unbelievable in what he's able to do. On top of that, whoever wins this wins $100,000. Talk about motivation. That's a lot of money for a G League player compared to the other NBA players. Who wants it more? I think he does. So I'm going to be rooting for him. So I like McClung. I like the G League player. That's who I think is going to win it. All right, number two, let's talk about the three-point contest. Who do you have winning that?
I'm going with Dame time. I'm going with Damian Lillard. He's been on a ridiculous heater for like 2 months. He's been dropping 50 and 60-point games regularly. I was watching a game the other day where nobody came to get the ball as soon as he got past half court, and he knocked down a 45-footer. And so in this type of three-point shooting contest, whoever gets the hottest is the winner. And right now, I don't see anybody getting hotter than what I've been seeing from Damian Lillard of late.
Yeah, I'm going with Buddy Hield. I like him I mean, keep in mind, he won it back, in 2020, so he'll be one of only 5 players, if he wins it again, to have won this twice. He's looking to defend his title. He didn't do it the following year in 2021 because of COVID. He didn't want to practice, but been there, done that, got the free t-shirt, knows how this operates. He's got the most three-point shots made in the NBA this season at 230. He averages 4 a game, shooting 42% from behind the arc, and also the fastest three-point shooter in the NBA. So I'm going with Hield. You have 2 other plays. Let's start with the Rising Stars Challenge. Who's going to win that?
I'm going with Team Pal because they've got last year's Rookie of the Year in Scotty Barnes. They've got this year's going to be Rookie of the Year in Paolo Banchero, as well as a few other really talented rookies. They're all easy scorers, and they're all just able to, in my opinion, put it together on an all-star type stage and be really difficult to handle. And then as far as the skills competition, I'm staying with the rookies, a lot of the same players. I like Team Rookie because they have 3 players, 2 of which are de facto point guards, and all 3 of whom can shoot. The Jazz, who's the favorite to win the contest at home, I like that they've got 2 scoring guards, but they also have a true center in Walker Kessler. And I think the difference between his shooting and Jabari Smith Jr.'s ability to knock down the 3 could be the difference in this competition.
So then, of course, it all ends with Sunday's big game, Team Giannis against Team LeBron. But we don't know the teams yet. Little caveat now they threw in is that, these teams won't be drafted until, 30 minutes or something like that, an hour before game time. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to roll with LeBron winning the MVP here. The All-Star game means a lot to LeBron, right? Like, he's looking for his 4th MVP. There's only 2 other cats who've won the All-Star MVP before, and Kobe Bryant being one of them. He averages 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists a game, and he takes this seriously. So I do believe LeBron is going to, even though I know he's dealing with an issue with his ankle and his foot, but I think LeBron's going to ball out. I've got LeBron winning the MVP. What do you think about that, Trey?
I think that's fair if LeBron plays. I'm unsure whether he's going to play a lot of minutes in this game. So I look for a young player, maybe somebody like a Ja Morant, to have something to prove and want to come out there and try to show the established that he's here to stay. So I can see a guy like that taking home the MVP.
All right, let's look big picture here, right? Let's look futures bets out there, and let's start with the East. All right, who do you have right now? Based on the trade deadline came and went, we have a feel of what this what this landscape's going to look like for the remainder of the season. Who do you have coming out of the East, representing the East?
I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, that's assuming that Giannis's wrist injury isn't serious and that Chris Middleton continues to get healthy. But if those things are the case, they've still got the best team, in my opinion. Giannis, the pressure that he applies to opposing defenses, especially in the playoffs when a lot of times it comes down to one-on-ones and half courts, is just unmatched. And then he's got two lieutenants that have been there and done that in Middleton and Drew Holiday. Then they have a team full of veterans, of veteran role players, by the way. They just added to that with Jay Crowder. I just see them as a team that no other team, including the 76ers and Celtics, really want to face when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you lockstep. I like the Bucks as well. Jay Crowder can play both forward positions. He makes them better, tougher, and bigger. Who do you like in the West?
Hot take alert. I'm going to go with those Lakers. And at 20-1, I'm going with them because no other Western team stands out to me. Like, I feel like there are maybe 6 teams that all have a legitimate claim that they could win the championship. Win the West championship. But the Lakers, if this shooting works out the way I think it will, and if LeBron and Davis can stay healthy, which is obviously a big if, they're a championship-tested core. And again, in the crucible of the playoffs, it becomes all about one-on-one matchups and defense and half-court game. I could see the Lakers really competing with anyone. So a team like the Nuggets or even the Suns now with Kevin Durant, they could win it, but they're like 2 or 3-1, whereas the Lakers are 20-1. And so if I'm going to put something down on a team in the West, I might as well have some fun, take the long shot, go with the Lakers.
Wow. We need to red flag this segment, because if the Lakers do win the championship, we will replay this, okay, and give you mad crazy props. For me, it's the Nuggets, right? The Joker, best, in my opinion, best player in the NBA. Murray's finally arriving. He's averaging 25 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists a game. They add Thomas Bryant, which I think helps them tremendously. Nobody's really talking about that addition at the trade deadline. 13-2 their last 15 games. They're going to get the number 1 home seed, the number 1 seed, so they're going to have the home court advantage, and they probably won't face the Suns, in my opinion, until the Western Conference Finals. So for me, it is the Nuggets. Dre, thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Enjoy All-Star Weekend, my friend.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Catch you next week.
You got it. You got it. All right, as always, before I let you go, now no NFL, but the XFL starts this week, and it starts on ESPN. You can see it on ESPN, ESPN2, ABC. So there are 4 games that I'm going to tee up for you. First and foremost, let's take a look. The Vipers take on the Renegades. That's the first game on tap this week. I like the Vipers. I think they're going to pull off the upset. You know what? I'll take the 3.5. Thank you very much. QB Luis Perez, as well as on defense, they have Vic Beasley. Number 2 is the Roughnecks. This is probably my best bet. This is the game that I like the most. I'll lay the 3.5 against the Guardians. Wade Phillips is their head coach. Top defense, good linebacking core. Their quarterback, Brandon Silver, played for Seattle back in 2020 in the XFL. He's got a lot of good weapons he's working with. Orlando, one of the worst offensive lines in the XFL. I'm also going to take the Battlehawks -2.5 against San Antonio. And I do like the DC Defenders, and they're getting the points against Seattle. Defenders very well could be the best team in the XFL. So again, 4 games on the slate for this weekend. These are my plays, and my best bet, my favorite bet, is the Roughnecks, and I'll lay the points. One last thing I'll leave you with, and that is we've got Baylor and Kansas going at it tomorrow. I do like Baylor in this matchup, right? Like, they're on a 4-game win streak. Their last 3 games that they've won have been on the road, which is always impressive in college basketball. They're 14-2 at home. Strong 3-point shooting, and also really strong off the glass, getting those second chances. Meanwhile, Kansas, they're coming off a 2-game losing streak. They're 0-4 against the spread. They got destroyed by TCU at home. They lost 83-60. And Grady Dick is struggling from the 3-point line. He's only shooting 18%, and he's a big part of Kansas and their success. So give me Baylor and you have my XFL picks. We also gave you a lot of NBA All-Star Weekend plays and some NHL. You are ready. You are locked and loaded for the weekend. Again, we so appreciate you tuning in to bet each and every week. We're here for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on ESPN+. Everybody, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next Monday.